Learning intuitive animal communication is like learning a new language, but a language without words, without grammar, and without all the usual hallmarks of language that we recognize with spoken language. And that makes it really hard. And it's like you're in uncharted territory. And to make it worse, we all have an idealized expectation for what's going to happen. Some people expect to hear something, some people expect to see something, some people expect full sentences, like all kinds of stuff. And so, if reality matches our expectation, then we keep going. But if it doesn't, then we quit or we blame ourselves or we tell ourselves something was wrong with us or we say, oh, that was made up and it's not really true and it can't really happen. So it can seem like intuitive animal communication is very mysterious, very nebulous, very hard to understand, very hard to kind of wrap your brain around. And I want to dispel some of that mystery. So, in this episode, by special request, I'm going to share my personal first attempt with intuitive animal communication and how it felt, what happened. Spoiler alert, it was not good. um, and then what I did next to become a professional animal communicator who has now taught intuitive animal communication to thousands of people all over the world. So I'm going to share with you what you can expect during your first animal communication session. And stay till the end because I'm going to be giving you 5 tips for success so that you can avoid all the mistakes that I made and make your dream come true much more quickly than I did. I was fully on the trial and error, stumbling around blind plan. Didn't work so well, but I got there eventually. That's what counts. So um, hang in there. This, I hope, is going to be very illuminating for you, especially if you've tried, if you're new to animal communication, if you haven't taken a class yet, but maybe you've had some experiences. You're like, whoa, that was a real thing. So, welcome to the Animal Communication with Dr. Cara podcast and YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Cara Gubbins, professional animal communicator and founder of the Animal Communicator Academy. And my mission is really to help all animal lovers become confident animal communicators so they can help their pets or become a professional or add animal communication to their current profession. My vision is to have animal communicators everywhere people and animals interact, whether it's in a home, a veterinarian's office, a rescue center, a shelter, a conservation area, wherever it is. And if you like and support this mission and vision, then please like and subscribe and hit the bell, and we can reach even more animal lovers and more animal communicators. So I'm going to start by giving you a little bit of background and context. So for me, about 18 years ago, my dream of talking to animals was a pipe dream. I was a new mom. I was like wishing on a star every night. I would take my dog Aiko for a walk and the stars would come out. And I literally was like, starlight, star bright. First star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might get this wish I wish tonight. Like, I didn't know what else to do, but I had this longing and I had this dream, and I just wanted it to come true. And so around that same time, I discovered the University of Santa Monica. And I decided to go there and get a master's degree in spiritual psychology because they said, we make your dreams come true. And I thought, I've got this crazy dream and it's not coming true on its own. I don't know what else to do. So um, I went I signed up for that program. And once I did that, I wanted to get the magic that they had to make my dream come true. I didn't know what that was, but sign me up, make my dream come true. I am in. And then I realized my dream is to use my natural intuitive ability to grow my intuitive skills and use them to communicate with animals. And so at the same time, I signed up for a 1 year psychic training program so that I had solid skills and I had accountability because I truly was not just doing it on my own. I needed that weekly class and I needed those deadlines and that accountability. So I did that for a year. I was going to LA for the master's degree in spiritual psychology, and every Monday night I was taking my class with my psychic teacher, and I spent a year doing the psychic skills. So I was practicing psychic skills and I was learning about spiritual psychology and how we create limiting beliefs and mindset work and all kinds of stuff. So all of this was happening as I was raising two young children and working part-time, teaching at the college. It was a lot, but not my point. So around when we're about to graduate from the 1 year psychic program, so 1 year in, I'm doing both of these programs, and we're in our classroom and we're sitting in a circle, and a woman with two dogs comes. And we are, I believe that my teacher guided us to ask specific questions, like where's your favorite place to go? And what's your favorite food and stuff like that. And then we would write down our answers on a little notepad. And then we shared our answers at the end. I was really frustrated because I got a few images in my head and that was it. So when we were asking, where's your favorite place? I saw trees, like generic trees. I mean, they were like pine trees. I remember that, but it was trees. And when we asked, what's your favorite food? I saw a hand with some small kind of meat, kind of a treat, kind of a thing. And that was really it. And we spent a good 15, 20 minutes doing this. And I got, two very vague impressions. I'm very visual, so I'm not surprised that I got images doing this, but I was really not impressed with myself at all. And so then we shared in the group, and pretty much everybody in the class, there was like 6 or 8 of us. They got more answers than I did. They got more details than I did, and they got more things right. And the trees were correct because there was a park with trees that the dogs like to go to. And I was just, I was there for one specific reason, which was to communicate intuitively with animals, and I felt like a failure. I was completely crushed, and nobody else wanted to become an animal communicator, and here they were doing better than me. So I was so upset. I was like, I just beat myself up. What am I doing wrong? And so that was in the spring, and I went through 6 months of doubt and agony and questioning and pessimism and wanting to quit, but I couldn't quit. And I was still wishing on the star every night when I was walking my dog Aiko. And so then in the fall, it was in October, went to ask my friend Ellery for help. And I had my breakthrough animal communication session with her dog Bear. And I've talked about this in other videos, but basically, in case you haven't seen those other videos, um, I went and I said, I really want help. I have this dream and I just don't know how to make it happen. I've done everything I know how to do. Like I'm getting tears in my eyes just remembering how awful it felt. And and she looked at me and she's so confused. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were already doing that. That's totally who you are." And I was like, thank you, but no, I have not done this. And she goes, well, talk to Bear. And so I asked Bear why she's mad at my husband. And so I did, and I got an image of Bear barking at her husband and him turning off the lights and looking like a big scary monster one night. And she said, yes, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, oh my God, I really did this. This is so amazing. And, she had me ask a couple more questions and I kept getting it right and I got stuff. And then I was like driving home, I was like, how did this happen? Like, what? I don't understand. What happened here? Why was I able to do this now? And then I realized that it was using the skills and the practices that I'd learned at USM, University of Santa Monica, I cleared a limiting belief that people won't believe me. So that had been holding me back. I really realized that I was doing the skills practice and that was working, and I had that ability and I had the natural ability. I was harnessing it, I was strengthening it, but I was also doing the mindset piece. And it wasn't until the night before I met Ellery and Bear that I realized that I had a limiting belief that if I was going to be an animal communicator, people would have to believe me and take my word for what I said their animals were communicating, which is not accurate. But it was a really like a childhood belief that people don't believe me was healed the night before. And it was in that healing that I was now able to access my ability to communicate with animals because I didn't believe it hinged on people believing me anymore. And I knew that I was believable. Like I tell the truth, right? Like, so it was this combination of that year and a half of practice and the year and a half of mindset skills. I've been clearing so many limiting beliefs, and it was that one key belief that had been holding me back. And then it was like the floodgates opened. And then I was able to use all of my senses, and I could see things and hear things and sense things, and I could just tap in 100%. So the mistakes that I made, right, is I didn't ever actively pursue or investigate what were the limiting beliefs directly related to intuitive animal communication. What were the limiting beliefs that were unconscious inside of me that I had that were holding me back? And I know it sounds complicated to go, how am I going to figure out what my unconscious limiting beliefs are? But I have tons of videos on that as well. Look at my mindset playlist and I will walk you through that entire process. For now, I want to really focus on that experience and how I can help you get to that experience and what to expect the first time that that you have your intuitive animal communication session, because it might go like mine did, where it's like maybe it's an impression, maybe not, I don't know, but I wrote it down, I followed through on it. So I mean, the bad news is I didn't actively put the pieces together. It happened on its own, accidentally. Thankfully, it did. Thankfully, it took me 6 months from when I finished my psychic training program to when I had my breakthrough. In the big scheme of things, it's not that long. It felt like forever at the time. But it would have been a lot faster if I had actively done the mindset work with intention and with focus on intuitive communication. So I want to ask you to think about, is there a belief that you have that might be holding you back? Like people don't believe me, or I'm not very intuitive, or I don't like talking to people or something. I don't know what it might be for you. So let's talk now about what you can expect your first animal communication um, session. Here's what I've learned from my direct experience that I just shared with you, but also because now I've taught so many people how to do this and I've watched them all go through the process. Your very first animal communication session, you might get a vague impression like I did. It might not make sense to you. That's okay. Write it down anyways. You might receive intuitive information through any of your senses. I know that I'm very visual. My first impression was visual. My daughter's very auditory. She's a singer and a musician. Her primary intuitive sense is her hearing. She would probably hear things. But we all have access to all of our senses, whether there are, external senses or internal senses. So be curious and look at, like, am I hearing anything? Am I sensing anything? Am I having an emotion show up that I didn't have before? Do I have some knowledge that just feels like, boom, it's right there? The first practice session, it can be very confusing. It can be very discouraging. Keep going anyway. If there's one take-home message, be stubborn like I am, stick with it. Don't give up. It doesn't matter how it goes. It matters that you do it, and it matters that you do the next one. That's how you make progress. So you have to start somewhere, and you will absolutely improve with practice. I have free training on my website to walk you through a 5-step process to do that. I've got tons of free videos here on YouTube or, listening to my podcast. So I have a lot of ways to help you. But if you know what your dominant sense is, start there the first time that you practice animal communication. Some people don't get anything. It's a total blank and it doesn't mean anything. I've had students who didn't get anything the first few times who are now professionals. So it doesn't mean anything if it doesn't work the first time, or if it's vague, or if it just doesn't seem like very much, or if it doesn't seem like it's related to the question that you asked. That's okay. You're inside of you, so much is going on. There are wheels spinning all over the place. It's actually a very complex process to learn how to do this below the surface. All you need to do is show up, keep trying, show up, keep trying, show up, keep trying. So here are my 5 tips for success. Number 1, understand that intuitive animal communication is a skill that can be developed. No matter how terrible you seem to yourself when you start, you can improve if you keep going because it's a skill. Number 2, please don't do what I did and bounce around and hope it works. Incorporate mindset work from the very beginning. Really examine and update your belief system and clear your inner blocks. If you feel stuck or blocked or empty or anything like that, that just means you have some mindset work to do. If the animal communication just isn't clicking, it's not happening, that also means you have mindset work to do. So combine your animal communication skills with your mindset skills. Tip number 3, start small with easy questions. So no life or death questions. Please don't try to find your neighbor's lost cat. That is really high stakes stuff. Start small, start with easy questions, make them open-ended, very simple. You just want to practice with baby steps to start out. Tip number 4, community builds confidence. So I had my friend Ellery, we met together every week for, I don't know, 6 months, I think. Um, Even once I had that breakthrough, just to have a buddy and talk about it and have, a community that understood what I was going through, somebody who to have fun with too. We had a great time. We did all kinds of field trips. So find a mentor, find a study buddy, find a community, find a class that includes community, something like that. But we're humans, we need other people. And being lonely and feeling alone as an intuitive animal communicator is a recipe for failure. So a lot of us just don't have the energy to motivate ourselves over and over and over again. So finding a community automatically gives us energy and helps us keep going, helps us understand that the challenges that we face are not just because we're weird or terrible or flawed. It's part of the human experience, and everybody goes through some version of the challenges. And then number 5, if you're starting out, I really recommend finding a proven system. Find a teacher, find a class, find a system that will work for you that ideally incorporates all of this, right? So you've got animal communication skills, you got mindset skills, you gradually increase the stakes of the questions that you ask as you get better and better at it. You have community to talk to and support you and a mentor, and you have a whole package. It just makes it so much easier. I struggled on my own to put all the pieces together, but you don't have to. You can find your own way by finding a quicker way, by finding a proven system that works. So, if you are struggling with learning the language of intuitive animal communication for any reason, whether it's you don't have the skills or the mindset or the community or a safe place to practice or a guide to help you out, and you want to become a confident animal communicator, you have the longing, you have the vision, you have the drive, you have the desire. I totally get it. I've been there myself. It was hard for me. But if you want to build this and do it right and develop accurate, reliable skills that you can count on and you can trust, I can totally help. I've trained hundreds of people around the world, and I can teach you how to do this too. And that's what I do day in, day out in the Animal Communicator Academy. So come on over to caragubbins.com/ACA and check out the Animal Communicator Academy, join our community, join the program, and become a confident animal communicator. So I hope that this gives you a sense of what to expect with your first animal communication practice session and why it might go the way it goes and why no matter how it goes, it's okay. You can still keep going. What's your biggest takeaway from this? Did you have an aha? Did you have an insight? Please put it in the comments. I would love to hear. Is there a tip that really resonates for you that you're going to add to your arsenal, to your system that you're doing? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation down there. And really, my final words to you are no matter what happens the first time, keep going because there's other times too. You can do this. All right, go talk to animals, become a confident animal communicator, and I will see you in the next time. Bye, everybody.